Friday, everyone, and thank you for joining me for today's World Energy Healing Session. I'm Monika Marczuk, and welcome to my channel, Energy Medicine with Monika. If you've stumbled upon my channel or you're the first time you're here, please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe so we can share the love with the world. Everyone can use a good dose of TLC. Now, for today's work, we're going to be hopping into the difference between living a habitual life versus, I don't really like versus, but for somatical, for dictatorial reasons, versus living life ritualistically, having a ritual. And the group and I got together. So if you want to get these little nuggets behind the scenes before we hop in, please shoot me an email and I'll send you the link and you can be a part of the conversation as well. That's not recorded. Um, we need to go, and my ear is blocked again. So I'm going to go into tunnel hearing, only hearing what you want to hear. Wow, that gives me such contraction. Oh, in the stomach. Only hearing what you want to hear. So let's say you've got different filters on your ears, and we're dealing with different types of filters. So, like the rose-colored glasses, only hearing bits of information, not getting the whole a bit of information, or having that cognitive dissonance where you're thinking those neural pathways um, are geared toward one form of information, so you're missing all of the story. So, we're going to go into the physical sense of hearing and the subtle sense of hearing, and we got to do a repair through there. Okay, so there's too much wind in the ear. So Chinese medicine is coming up here, and it feels like a tunnel. There's just too much wind. So we're going to go in and do a balancing of that wind in the ear. We're bringing in um, the meridian points of the liver. And we got to do meridian point repair through. Oh, that feels so much better. It's already starting to release those angry thoughts or those resentful thoughts that get caught in the ears that are giving you those repetitive thoughts over and over again, whether it be angry thoughts about someone else, angry thoughts about yourself, angry thoughts about your life, or perhaps you're catching yourself doing something habitual and you want to shift that. And you said to yourself, oh my God, I said I wouldn't do this, but I'm doing it again. I've done it. I've done it again. And you start to beat yourself up. We're going into those meridian points, the liver meridian points that line the ears, mainly on the right side, because this is the one where I'm feeling most congested. We're going to do a repair to those meridians, bring in a circulation of chi to, from, and within those meridian, that liver meridian that runs up. So liver is responsible for anger, but anger is, as a healthy emotion, catalyzes you into change, catalyzes movement in your life, catalyzes you to do different things for yourself, getting out of that habitual mind and more into a ritualistic way of living. Whew. But when anger goes up into the head and it gets caught up with thoughts, it can create migraines, it can create headache. Even we can have some blood vessels explode in the brain, and I'm starting to sweat. So if there's any toxicity in the body, this is going to help to move the toxic thoughts out of the head, out of those neural systems that you have, those neural pathways in relation to angry thinking, whether it be about yourself, your life, or others. So this is resentment. And resentment comes up as resentment, resenting the same information over and over and over. So we're going to do a circulation of chi to the liver meridian. There we go. Dumping from there resentment of angry thoughts about yourself, others, and your life. Oh, there's a breath. And we're going to circulate the chi back down the body. So it's a natural circulation of energy flow up and then down. So it's not getting stuck in the head. We're bringing in the diaphragm and small intestines to help release and synthesize. There we go. Now my teeth are coming in. So if anyone who grits their teeth, clenches their teeth, grinds their teeth, we're going to go into the gums and the tongue. And we're going to do a repair on the microbiome of the mouth. Now, it's said that if the microbiome of the mouth is off, you can have a poisoned tongue. So, speaking against yourself, speaking against others, actually creates toxicity in your breath, and it could be toxic breath. You can actually damage plants around you when that breath comes out. And speaking with a forked tongue. Ooh, there's a release over there. So if I'm burping, it's not because I'm have indigestion, it's just the energy moving and helping to shift, and the energy is moving quickly. So we're going into the microbiome. Oh, there's a gurgle of the mouth, of the tongue, of the gums. We're going to bring in some hydration to flush out any toxins. We're going into the taste buds. And this is linked directly to the same place in your brain where it's related to the sense of taste. And there's a habit of the food that you're eating. Instead of letting the digestive system, instead of letting that intuition, that gut choose your food, there's an overriding of the food that you eat by thinking or whatever you ingest. So whether that be an attraction of life experiences, it goes in through the mouth first. You have to swallow you got to chew the life experience down. You swallow, it goes down through the esophagus into the stomach. This is where these sayings come from, where you get a piece of information or something happens in your life and you're like, I got to chew on that. I've got to digest this piece of information, or it's not sitting with me well. That's something against that your system, your body mind is not resonating with, or maybe it's just not meant for you. So we got to do a repair to the section of the brain that's responsible for taste. We're going to link those two up. So the mouth, the whole mouth and the biome, linking that to the gut brain. So we're doing a linking over there. And then we're going to link it to the part of the brain and repairing the communication between the mouth and the whole biome in relation to the part of the brain. And we got to dump filters there that you think you know better. I think I know best. So let's say you go and pick up a salad, and this is a garden salad you've always eaten, and one day it's the gut says no for whatever reason. It's just says no, and you don't want to put it in your mouth. You don't feel like eating it, but then the mind triggers and says, I should eat this salad. I know that I've always ate the salad for weeks on end, and it's good for me. And I know that it's good for me because I've got all my proof that it's good for me. And then you pull up your phone and start going into the nutritional factors of each vegetable and herb, and you say, it's good for me because, and then you show your list of proof. Oh, that's a big release there. Oh, the ear's starting to finally unblock. And then you pull up your list of proof. And then later that day, you've got the runs, or your stomach is upset, or you're not feeling well. Because there was something in that salad that your intuition was picking up that wasn't right for you for this day. It doesn't mean forever, it just meant in this moment. So the mind or the thoughts can overrun the gut. It could usurp intuition. And then there's a very thin line to go, oh, well, confusing thoughts with intuitive guidance. It's a very thin line. You have to have a very anchored mind from in the gut through that midline, an anchored mind, so you can use it as a tool, that it doesn't run you, that you're anchored and you can think properly. Following thoughts is not thinking. Thinking is asking questions. Thinking is using your discernment. Thinking is being curious. putting things together practically, not just believing all of the things that you think because you thought it, therefore it must be true. Oh, there's the first breath coming in, and I'm just going to run a repair on that connection from mouth into the brain where it's responsible for the mouth, the sense of taste, your teeth, your tongue, the gums. We're doing a repair to the microbiome. We got to bring in vitamin C. There's some oxidative stress within the mouth. So I'm bringing in therapeutic doses of vitamin C through the mouth to help release those toxins. And also dumping speaking with a forked tongue, either against yourself or others, bringing this into diaphragm, small intestines for synthesis release and maximal health potential. Now we're going into the gut, and we have to do the same thing to the gut. I'm feeling some uh, gut issues coming up here for today. So whether that be leaky gut, some malnutrition because the small intestines is not doing a good job uh, absorbing the nutrients on a physical level. And then also we need to do a repair to the gut brain. So that's discernment. It feels just really confused where, oh, it just feels I'm so disoriented. So I feel really confused. So we're going to run a multifaceted repair here. We're going to start systematically. We're going to start from the top of the small intestines, from the duodenum, and then running down through the whole intestines. We got to repair that cellular lining of the small intestines so the nutrients have a container in which to stay. If there's no container, if there's holes in its pores, you can think about like a noodle strainer. It just goes through. Whatever you put in just goes right out. So this could be hydration, vitamins, minerals. There's no point in taking supplements if you have leaky gut because it's not being absorbed by the body. So we need to run a repair to the cellular lining of the small intestines. And we're going into a few particles of the cell, so the mitochondria, that's coming up as most important. So we're going to do a mitochondrial repair. And what the mitochondria need is light. That's you're basically when you're eating food, you're basically eating sunlight. You can go ahead. I'm not going to get into all of the science about it. You can go ahead and look this up. But really quickly, the vegetables, let's say we use the vegetables, for example, they get a lot of sunlight and they're nice and they're rich. And then you go ahead and eat that. And what the body extracts from that is sunlight. And that's what the mitochondria need is people are actually bioluminescent, even though we can't see it with our eyes, but we do have a bioluminescence about us. That's why when some people say, "Oh my God, you look so beautiful today, you're glowing," that's a strong mitochondria. So we're repairing the mitochondria within that cellular lining and the capacity for the mitochondria to utilize the sun or that energy that you eat from the food, your food sources. Includes meat. So if the cattle or the chickens are outside and they're getting a lot of sun in through their eyes, they have a nice, healthy meat. That's also can be utilized for the mitochondria. There we go. There's the shift. And then we're going to repair the gut brain. We got to do a differentiation between thinking, thoughts, and intuition. They're not all the same. So I'm not going to get into it. That's a whole different conversation. We're going to link this to the prefrontal cortex so your body mind can start to sort this out through the digestive system. It can start to break apart and fragment and defrag and put back together new pieces of information within your body mind, the difference between a thought, thinking, and intuition. Oh, there's the breath. Okay. We just need to anchor this. I'm going to bring in a satellite for this session. And it's going to be a satellite, a roving satellite, so a resource, a continued resource that the session is taking. So your body mind will tap into when these links, when your body mind gets to work and doing the work and sorting things out for yourself. It's going to be discernment. Very, very, very different than analytical thinking. Discerning. And so we're bringing discernment in for your body mind to use that as a resource. All right, I'm tapping this in here. You can just go ahead and breathe naturally. And that's it for today's work. Thank you so much for being here. Come and join us again, and I'll see you all next week.